Here we go.
You can't see my head.
Man, that'll do. That'll do.
Hey.
You got a little ocean over here, Put our links to click. Subscribe, click.
I need to do slate.
Slating. Ready?
This is Trebuchet Season 1, Episode 2, Take 1, Slate.
Hi, welcome to my podcast. My name's Manelick, and this is the Trebuchet. We have been hustling our boots over here all week. For those of you who don't know, I'm a DoD whistleblower, and I've been working really, really hard to document everything that has happened on my journey. I have also been trying to escape domestic violence and divorce somebody in the DoD who is very powerful. And whether or not that power is like actual and like resolute, or it's just like part of the abuse and part of my mindset of like, they are like, for so long they were on this pedestal and like they were the most important person in my entire world for like almost 20 years. We were married for 17. And we were still technically married, but it was just converted to a divorce. But the reason why I'm sharing that is this podcast, due to legal reasons, is going to have to be exclusively focused on my DoD whistleblowing and walking through the military's role in destroying my life and my children's and my service members, to be honest. Like, sometimes I wonder, like, all of our family court stuff, if that would have happened if the DoD hadn't weaponized him. And honestly, the more I'm really like sitting with it, like I'm even getting like kind of sick to my stomach thinking about it right now, because like on a human level, it's terrifying to think that somebody that said that they loved me and would take care of me forever and, you know, till death do us part, could do the things that this human did to me. And to be married for 17 years, like that's a long time. And abuse, just like the indoctrination that he went through as part of the military, didn't all come at once. You know, I met my DoD deadbeat when I was a junior in college at the University of Oregon. Go Ducks! If you're an alumni, hit me up. If you're a lawyer, hit me up. If you're an entrepreneur who wants to fund the Wondery campaign for this, hit me up. Just kidding. Actually, no, like, so I'm a University of Oregon alumni. I got my undergraduate degree in international studies, and then with a focus on conflict resolution, human rights, and peace studies. How funny is that? I did that focus because I grew up in domestic violence, and I grew up with two parents who were in the military. My mom was an Army doctor. My dad was an Air Force officer. So I come by the DoD fuckery honestly and early. I was an early DoD adopter. Technically, I think there was only like a handful of years in my life that I wasn't a DoD dependent. Also affectionately known as a dependoponymous, or a dependent, what do they call it? A triceratops. And then several of my brothers were in the military. My grandfathers were both veterans, et cetera, uncles, et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, I got my undergraduate at University of Oregon in international studies with a focus on peace studies, human rights, conflict resolution, and I got 2 minors. I was going to triple major in political science and anthropology, hence why we've almost decided just to make this a Bigfoot hunting podcast where I happen to talk about the DoD. And as a matter of fact, for legal purposes, this is actually a Bigfoot podcast. Like, this is exclusively a podcast about Bigfoot. So from here on out, anything else you hear is just side chatter, because like at some point we will find Bigfoot. And I can't even say it with a straight face. This is my new legal strategy, just to keep the ball moving as much as I can to keep me out of jail. Because my DoD deadbeat threatened to put me in jail if I talk about my civilian case. So I'm not going to, which is why I'm going to try to silo all that and not run the energy. And we might even have to take down episode 1. IDK, we will see. But I'm feeling a lot more like grounded and centered in launching the Trebuchet and sharing this content, because I am an Army historian, I am an academic, and like, you know, what I lack in composure and the ability to self-regulate, because I was married to an abuser for years, alleged, I make up for in my ability to just like ground myself in research and study things and like go back to the facts. Okay, so back to the story. I would have stayed. Let's see, I graduated my junior year because I met my DOD deadbeat. No, I graduated the spring of my senior year. I met my DOD deadbeat at his commissioning at Penn State University. That will be important later because I'll be discussing Colonel Samuel Klein and Colonel James Keevitt, who were the Presidio of Monterey garrison commander and the Presidio of Monterey Defense Language Institute commandant. So they were both Penn State ROTC alumni, as is my abuser, as is one of my older brothers, who I do not currently speak to because of personal reasons and also because of the role he played in this whole thing as a former military police officer. So again, that will all come into play. And for right now, I'm just kind of like laying the groundwork of what's going on. And I kind of feel like starting with the Oregon thing is like the way to go. So I played women's rugby at the University of Oregon. I was an outside center. Go Dirty Ducks. I'd rather be a dirty duck than a dirty beaver was our mascot, or was our slogan. And it wasn't until I was like in grad school at Hawaii Pacific University and I was like wearing around these t-shirts that said like, I'd rather be a dirty duck than a dirty beaver on campus. And I was like, you know what, maybe I've got to be an adult now. I can't wear crash shit like this. But it doesn't stop me from wanting to. Which, that reminds me, Brianna Cornwall, can I please have, by the way, Brianna Cornwall is my, who is it? My abuser, alleged, civilian attorney. As I remember things, I'm just going to like put in wish lists. Can I please have my Oregon rugby bag that your client has? Like it has all my old rugby uniforms, you know, just like stuff it's like mine. So I'd really like that if I could get it. And also the Pacific Grove Police Department called and said that my wedding dresses went ready for pickup because I'd asked your client for that for like a year. And then his mother finally sent it on our 17th wedding anniversary, which was like, I was like, not a cute look for her. But anyways, the Pacific Grove Police Department sent me a letter, and if he wants it for the kids, like by all means, you can go pick it up there. Otherwise, I'll just let them burn it. Like, save me having to have a bonfire. I already got rid of, wedding rings are gone. The dress will be gone. Like, it's just, this is the season of release. But I was 21 when I bought it, and I really did love it at the time, but it's not that cute. We'll show pictures sometime. Okay, I digress. Played women's rugby at the University of Oregon. I was an outside center. I started playing rugby, and again, this will all connect at some point, so just stay the course through these stories. I promise. I'm a teacher. I always come back, and it might not be in this episode, but if you stay the course, it will all make sense. So I was playing, I was in my Spanish class in college, and I started talking to this older man. I was like, oh, what's this guy, 29th year senior, doing here? Love you, Pack. Eric Packlack. He is the head of the brain science department in the psychology department at the University of Oregon. I just discovered through like somebody random. But 20 years ago, Pack he was coaching rugby, and we were having to have a conversation about like what our favorite sport was. And I was like, oh, mine's rugby, because my stepdad, who was also an alleged abuser, was Australian and really liked, and we learned how to play there. And then two of my brothers played for Penn State. And I actually almost went out to pay for Penn State, but it was just too big of a school and too big of a transfer. And I was really cozy with my dads. Okay, so talk to Pack, and I go, oh, I love rugby, or like I play rugby. He's like, oh my gosh, you should come play. So I play. Now, the reason why this is just like a funny story is when I was playing rugby, it was probably the best time of my life. I felt strong. I felt powerful. I felt confident. I didn't give two F's about any of the, other athletes. I was just like doing my thing. Like life was good. And gosh, I'm just like going down memory lane. Like we had some wild, like, again, the stories I could literally, University of Oregon. I think you guys are on TikTok. I literally just want to like start a channel where I just tell old Oregon stories. And I'm like, okay, so this one time when we took the van, do not do this, to a frat party at USC. No, it was at Stanford. We took a college bus to a frat party. Oh my gosh, we could have gotten in so much trouble. Or this time we partied with this like 8-foot rapper, just randomly, like, Okay, but we also played rugby in the intervening times. So, anyways, really happy time in my life. The reason I talk about that is because two reasons. One, Pac, our coach, used to work at the Brain Science Center, and he would pay us like $20 to come in and put these caps on and like, and like measure our brains. And we were just, down for it because $20 is $20. But he's like, okay, well, you guys can't come that often. Like, there's a limit to it. And like looking back, it's like, oh, well, because they were MRIs, it's like exposing our brains to high levels of radiation. But now I'm like so like woo, full circle because my alleged abuser had me as part of our separation, and his quest to prove that I was crazy, had me do these brain scans with this company called Amen Clinic, and it's a medical provider called Amen Clinic, and I actually got to meet Dr. Amen at the inauguration, which was wild. Here, bing, somebody's editing this. Throw a little picture of Dr. Amen up there. Shout out. I actually went up to him, and he was like one of I think the only person I was like, John Boyd's trying to get my number, but I want to talk to Dr. Amen. Kidding. Hi, John Boyd. You owe me a text, by the way. Okay, back to Dr. Amen. I actually went up to him, and I was like, hi, Dr. Amen. I just want to tell you, your clinic saved my life because my alleged abuser had been trying to get me to go do these brain scans for at least 4 years since he took a phone call from prostitutes on a Sunday night. That is not alleged. That actually happened. And I was like, oh, shoot, I got to get out of this marriage. Oh, but I'm stationed overseas in a faraway land, Africa, and it's COVID. What am I going to do? But I decided to get out. I was like working with therapists to start that process. But the reason why it's important is I started going through therapy and then did get out and we were separated. And then my abuser, alleged, started sending me all these YouTube videos saying like, you should, every week it was like, you've got bipolar disorder, you've got personality disorder, you've got paranoid disorder, you've got ADHD, you've got bipolar disorder, you've got, everything but PTSD was the only one he never really checked off, which is what it turned out to be diagnosed. So you've got depression, you've got anxiety. I'm like, dude, put it on my DSM bingo card and let's get moving. I'm done playing Dr. YouTube. Like, I don't want to do this with you, sir. And then in 2021, after a year of separation, he tried to get me to go to Dr. Amen. And I can show you the emails. Like, he just was forcing me, like, please, we do this for me and the girls, please. Because I wanted to leave. I didn't want to be in the relationship anymore. So it was a lot of like coercive control and like medical abuse and trying to get my mom and, other people involved to like encourage me to do this. But I'm like, look, I left him for a reason. And I didn't reveal why to anybody, but there had been things going on in our relationship. And I've talked to production a lot about this and gone over the legal discussions. And also as a mother, there are things that happen in any marriage, and especially the end of a marriage, that are going to be between me, him, and God. I know what happened. He knows what happened. And God knows what happened. And at the end of this, I want to give him the opportunity to seek contrition, to work with the church, to work with like medical providers, to work with anybody, to recognize that like what he is doing is abuse. Like, hard stop. There's no alleged in that. It is abuse. And there's ample evidence of it. And despite the fact he's trying to silence me in civilian courts, I'm going to really push through on the DOD side of this and show how the DOD completely botched their investigation and just has fundamentally lost trust with the civilian population, because all of the individuals who saw this happen in real time, who were civilians, couldn't believe it. And even the military families who saw this. Like, I would not be alive today if my best friend's husband wasn't a colonel. Full stop. Full stop. Also wouldn't be alive today if my brother wasn't a celebrity and I didn't have access to this. Full stop. That is not okay. And it pisses me the fuck off, because any woman in the DOD or man should not have to go to the lengths, literally just to stay alive, that I did. But beyond that, they shouldn't be silenced and shamed. I've talked to other survivors who CID took 2 years to do their investigation, only to say the evidence went cold and the investigation went nowhere. That's not okay. And that's what I'm talking about. We're at 15 minutes. Okay, I'm going to wrap up my story, and then we're going to record again another day. But yeah, I went to University of Oregon, met him at his commissioning. My older brother we came from a military family, and my oldest brother had been killed in Iraq in 2003. He was killed on his birthday, December 14th, 2003. You can look him up. His name is Ryan Manelick, and there was a Rolling Stones article written about him. It says like the missing man. Basically, his coworker was kidnapped, and they were held for ransom or whatever. And I don't know. It was Iraq, 2003. Like shit happened. It was sad. We cried about it. For anybody who checks out my other podcast, Golden Otter Divinations, that's where I really talk about a lot of that. And I talk about how my brother's death when I was 16 was like the impetus for me to start exploring alternate spirituality and other like ways of seeing the world, which is something I've like really closed down in the last couple of years because my DoD deadbeat has used my virtual company as something that I should be ashamed of, but then also said it's something that I should be able to pay child support using. So just talking out of both sides. And like I said, I don't think the DoD intends to weaponize these humans, but it does. And then over time, you start to see the cracks. And I'm a lieutenant colonel's wife, or soon to be ex-wife. And I always used to say, like, nothing ever changes until it happens to a colonel's wife. And here I am, that colonel's wife, and the issue is domestic violence and unsafe military housing. And am I happy about it? No, not at all. Am I confident that I'm going to move the dial on this and make a change for other spouses? Absolutely. I literally don't have any other choice. It's this or death. And I want to be a stay-at-home grandma. I got goals. Well, mama got plans, all right? Oh my God, look how beautiful this is. And I've asked God to call me home, to be totally honest, and he just won't do it. I got hit by a drunk driver on the 17th of February. My car got totaled. I walked away without a scratch. And I was so pissed at God. I was like, what the fuck? Ah, why are you putting me through this hell? Just take me home. And, it's a selfish way to think because I'm a mother and I've got 3 beautiful children. But this has not been an easy road. And it's not going to be an easy road. But I'm determined and we will get through it together. And I'm so grateful for the production company that keeps getting legal threats to shut down, which this is what's so fun. I've been asked for child support while I like literally lived in a women's shelter and like an RV. The production helped me assist me getting. But like, I don't know if anybody knows this. You don't actually get paid for work you don't do. And they've sent cease and desist trying to shut this down. So if I don't do this, I don't get paid. And if I don't get paid, I can't pay child support, which it must be hard out there. If you are a lieutenant colonel, could you drop it in the comments that like life must just be really that rough that you're going to need child support? Like, has BAH changed? I thought BAH went up in 2025 after President Biden authorized the National Defense Authorization Act on December 24th in 2024. I mean, am I wrong? Is that not a thing? Like everybody didn't get a pay raise and a BAH raise? But apparently life is hard in the streets for an 05 stationed at the Presidio because their request, like, those men need child support and you gotta get them what they need. Especially if you were a stay-at-home wife for 16 years. You better get your education and get moving, which brings me back to the end of this. So I got my degree. I graduated early. I met my DoD deadbeat at his commissioning at Penn State, where it said Colonel Klein and Colonel Keevitt also attended. And my brother, the MP, was also an Army guy. And we were out. I went to my brother's graduation. I was like wearing clothes from my mom's suitcase because my suitcase had gotten lost. And my brother got blackout drunk and said, "Autumn, this is your future husband." Edit that. "Autumn, this is your future husband, DoD deadbeat. DoD deadbeat. This is your future wife, Autumn. Get to know each other." And we laughed. And then, I don't even want to tell the story because it's. And then we were married in 3 months. No, we were engaged in 3 months and married in 6. Because in the military, you get extra money for being married. and he didn't want to live in the officers' housing. And that's the story. I hustled my boots, and I graduated college 2 semesters early, my senior year, and enrolled in grad school. I wanted to be a lawyer, but I wasn't going to be able to be a traveling lawyer, I didn't think. So I got my teaching degree, which I'd love to still go back to law school, but I don't know that I want to actually practice law. I think I just want to be educated about how to utilize the law to protect innocent people. So maybe I'll just hire a bunch of lawyers who don't charge me hundreds of thousands of dollars like Marino Family Law, okay, that's my family law case. This is the Trebuchet. See, like my whole life, and especially as a DOD spouse, your whole life, like you don't realize it while you're in it, but the military is a cult. We all think alike, we dress alike, we act alike. I mean, we're very different, but there's certain things that we do that are very similar and routine. Even just like the Marie Kondo folding like clothes, I was folding a blanket and a bunch of clothes and like in this very specific way. And somebody called me out on there, like, you organized like all this by color, by size, by whatever. And I was like, yeah, is that what? And they were just like, that's like, I've never seen somebody do that. And I was like, what? Like everybody does that. And then I had to like stop myself. I was like, oh no, not everybody does that. Like DOD spouses do that. Because it's a subculture. So we're part of a subculture. So, and it is very normal in our subculture for people to get married early. It's also normal in our subculture in the DOD for spouses to leave school and not finish their degrees. It's also normal for spouses to, for soldiers to, what am I trying to say? It's also normal for soldiers to, get married before they actually have their weddings. And they just kind of do them, like, call them, I can't remember what we call them. We have a name for it. If somebody can remember, put it in the comments. But it's basically where you get married. It's like a paper wedding, basically. And we had a paper wedding. He was at Ranger School. No, that's not true. He was at his like officer's basic career course or whatever. And in Georgia. Tell me you're a military wife without telling me you're a military wife. What? Huh? Next time I'll do codes. Anyways, we eloped to New Orleans, and he was stationed at Fort Benning. I can't remember what its name is now. He was stationed at Fort Benning going to his basic class or whatever for officers. And I should have known he was like a deadbeat early on. He put Biloxi, Mississippi as where he was. So he was actually AWOL the weekend we got married because you can only go so far from a base. So he never used to tell anybody that story because he knew he was AWOL. But whatever. Anyways, it's getting cold up here, so I gotta go. But we got married in New Orleans and then eloped. And then in May of the following year, we had like our full wedding. And all of my girlfriends were like, don't do it, Autumn, don't do it. And then I like stayed married for a really long time just to like prove everybody wrong. And I was like, look, we made it. But like the last 8 years were really, really, really unhappy and really, really, really unhealthy. And he changed quite a bit after Ranger School. And that was the first time I said, hey, look, like I can't, he was getting ready to go to SFAS. So he went to SFAS selection, got selected to be a Special Forces guy. And I was like, I can't do this. We're stationed at Fort Bragg. There's way too many widows and orphans here. Like, I don't want to do this because it's heavy war years. And then he ended up going FAO after that. He told me I'd ruined his career by not supporting him and being, not going into Special Forces. But then we ended up going into FAO. So he was always kind of like he always had the upper hand after that. And that was like in 2011, I want to say. Yeah, it was like 2011. So it was about 4 years into the marriage. And then we did the FAO training pipeline, which was amazing. FAO stands for Foreign Area Officer. So there's a handful of these guys, and they are, it's a pretty prestigious little gig, which like in military communities, I am kind of waiting to get either, I don't know, actually, I really don't know. I'm like a little bit nervous because we have such a small community, and most of you who are in my age range, or like we were in like class, like training together, you guys all know me and know how I am and know who I am, and I'm still friends with most of you. And if you're a FAO and you support this DOD bullshit, then fuck you and fuck off and go away. And if I find out who you are, I will call out your name and I will report you to both the Army and the State Department, because if you commit a crime while you're overseas in a diplomatic capacity, the State Department has jurisdiction. And they are super, super, super into investigating officers who have alleged misconduct overseas, because it actually puts families who are in the State Department at risk. So anyways, I do sometimes worry a little bit that like the people I'm threatening are military members, and like my ex went to special forces training, and like some of these neighbors used to be special forces, and yeah, might still currently be. So if I ever just disappear off the face of the earth, just assume that the DOD killed me. Facts. All my documents are secured, and I probably won't say names, actually, now that I think about it, because like there's some scary ass motherfuckers that used to live next to us, and they used to say some scary ass shit, like, be the thing that scares you in the night. And you're like, that's fucking terrifying. And also part of the coercive control and the psychological abuse of why it stayed so long, because I just remembered that my DOD deadbeat is an airborne ranger. He's a lieutenant colonel, Army Airborne Ranger. But I mean, like, I'm the perpetrator of domestic violence, and he's scared of me because, like, I mean, look at me. Right? Fucking, you should be scared. Just kidding. Okay. It's literally funny when I say it out loud. People are like, wait, what, you? And I'm like, yeah, all 115 pounds. Watch out. Like, a lieutenant colonel. And you know what? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I didn't even think of that. Reframe. Everything that happens bad is actually good. I just elevated my status. What'd you say? Yeah. No. A lieutenant, an Army Airborne Ranger, lieutenant colonel, foreign area officer. He's scared of me. Fuck yeah. You know what, Trump? Get me to the front lines. You guys, if I'm a fucking terrifying person, I am the Trebuchet. I am a weapon. And if that lieutenant colonel's scared of me, wonder how many else are. Reframe. I think that's where I'm going to pin it for today. That was a boom. Yeah. If you're DOD and you're up to fuckery, you should be scared, because I am a weapon. I am weaponized intelligence, and I'm taking back all the shit and all the strategies and all the psychological warfare that you motherfuckers used to do to me and my girlfriends and women who have loved and supported me through this chapter. I'm just going to launch it right back at you. So, with that, I'm the Trebuchet, signing off. Go Ducks! Thanks, Uncle Phil. Bye!